Hey, what's going on, you guys? Today we're going to be talking about 5 things that I don't like about my 2025 BMW S1000RR. Now we're going to be starting at number 5, and we're going to work our way up to the number 1 thing that annoys me the absolute most. Now, these are all things that I don't think should sway you away from buying the motorcycle. They're just 5 things, nitpicky things that I wish BMW would address in the future, and just so that you know coming into the bike. Now, these are things that might be a little obvious, or you're asking, why do you even care? If that is the bike, that is what it is. Well, they're just things that I think that you guys should want to know. I don't know. If not, click off. Who cares? So the number 5 annoying thing about this motorcycle that I do not like, dumbly enough, is the color. I do like the blue metallic. Do not get me wrong. The blue metallic is a good choice, but I don't like that you only get 3 color options. You get black, blue metallic, or you get the M package white. Now, I just don't understand why BMW does it this way, and I don't understand why they don't give you more options, or at least let you get all of these options in the M package. For me, I wanted the blue metallic, but I did want the M package, but I couldn't have both at the same time. So I was left with an option of getting the blue metallic, throwing the M package stickers on it, and buying all the M package stuff, but then I'm wasting thousands of dollars instead of just buying the M package. So, you know, in return, I just ended up buying the blue metallic, and I've just done some modifications along the way to make it my own. But I wish I could have gotten the blue metallic with an M package. The 4th annoying thing to me about this bike that, you know, a lot of you guys probably won't care about, but to me, it might be aesthetically the most annoying, and it's the symmetrical headlights. Now, from 2012, I believe, until 2019, you got the non-symmetrical headlights that, you know, one side was circular and one side was this weird triangle square thing that honestly is the reason that I fell in love with the S1000RR. BMW did put the RR sticker on one side to kind of give you that illusion that it was non-symmetrical, and technically it's not. But to me, man, I like the headlights, and I hope that in the future they go back to it. Because to me, there's nothing sexier than an HP4 with those unsymmetrical headlights, just looking mean, almost like it's winking at me. But hey, you know, it is what it is. So the 3rd annoying thing about this bike that I don't like is going to be the valve noise. Now, the internals on this motor are just super loud. Now, I personally have fixed this issue with an exhaust, sort of. But you can still hear it. It sounds like a sewing machine. Now, the exhaust did help it quite a bit, so you don't have, that's not all you're hearing, but stock, man, this thing doesn't sound good. You know, the Ducatis in the past and the R1s, they sound okay from stock. Now, you might have to do just a header, but it sounds good. These bikes are just known for sounding like sewing machines, and that's why I just wish that they would do something to dampen that noise. I don't know what it would take. I don't know how to help that issue, but I do know that I don't like it. So BMW, maybe do better. So the second biggest issue that I have for this bike is going to be the brakes. I don't know why they did not put Brembos on the front of this bike. It's got Brembos on the rear, so why would BMW not give me both? I know that with Yamaha, with their R1M specifically, they do this so that they can cut cost, raise the price a little bit, but not have to raise it crazy, like crazy, to kind of offset. Now, if that's why they did it, I mean, maybe I understand, but man, I would rather just you charge me a couple $100 extra so I get Brembo fronts. I don't need Brembo rears. I don't use my rear brakes. I think that the rear sets that come on this bike make it almost impossible for me personally to use the rear end, or the rear brakes. I just don't understand, BMW. Why would you give me great rears and not great fronts? Now, it's not that the fact that these brakes suck, But man, I mean, they're just not good as they could be. I mean, this is $25,000, and I feel like I'm not getting my money's worth as far as my brakes go. All right, so the last and final issue that I have with the bike, the number one problem, the number one thing that I think not only makes me upset, but it makes every single BMW owner upset. And it's the fact that between 4 and like 10,000 RPM OEM, this bike makes no power. And then all of a sudden at like 8 or 10,000 RPM, it just kicks on and it gives you all that power. Now, normally I don't know that it would be that big of a deal, but with this bike and it making 200 plus horsepower, it's honestly kind of terrifying that you could be, you know, in it, no power, no power, no power, and then all of a sudden it lights up and then it takes off. Man, I'll tell you, the first time that I unlocked the bike and I really got on it, it kind of frightened me a little bit because I was like, man, this thing, 200 horsepower, are you sure? It feels like 140, 150. And then all of a sudden you get all of it and you're like, holy crap, wow, 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 oh my God. And it really kind of freaked me out. And it's something that I definitely could have gotten used to, you know, riding it more and more and more. But I just didn't feel like I had to. So within, I don't know, a week of the bike getting unlocked, I had sent the information off to get a tune for it. Now, as I have said in the past, it's just a stage 1. It's nothing, you know, super duper crazy. But it was something that annoyed the heck out of me enough for me to do it. Now, was I going to tune the bike no matter what? Of course, 100%, because I was going to put an exhaust on it, which I have. But, man, I feel like I shouldn't have to do it specifically because it's scary. I feel like I should want to do it to get me some more power so I enjoy the bike a little more. But that's not why I did it. And I just don't understand why BMW does it. There must be a reason, but it's something that I haven't seen, and everyone else that has these bikes and has done the same thing hasn't had big reliability issues as long as they stuck with the stage 1. Even my dealership told me to do a stage 1. So they knew it was a problem enough for them to tell me, hey, we recommend you doing a stage 1. You'll get more out of your bike and you'll like it a whole lot more. So BMW, I don't know why you did it this way, but I don't like it. So guys, I don't want you guys to take this as me being upset with BMW or upset with the bike in general. I love this bike, and I think I'm going to keep it for a long time. And that's something I haven't really been able to say about too many vehicles in my life. If you guys watch my channel, you guys have seen me move through already a car, whatever. I move through vehicles very quickly, and this is the first bike that I've really wanted to keep. And I just think that maybe in the future, if BMW does change these things, I would upgrade from this to something else solely because I want the bike to look the way I want it to look, and I want the power to be there from OEM. I don't want to have to change things, except for things that are aesthetic and maybe a little bit of exhaust. I do recommend this bike, and I will be making a video about 5 things I love. So maybe stick around for that. Just so you guys get a little bit of a Focus ST update, I have done wheels. I have done a couple of other things to it. I don't want to tell you everything that I've done because I'm going to do a full walk around video of the first version of that car. I do want to say that I've got some more ideas on the horizon. I do think that I might end up doing a performance upgrade on the car. I'm doing a whole bunch of research right now. I'm talking to a couple of shops, and I'm talking to a couple of part suppliers to see what I need and what I don't need. But what I'm trying to avoid doing with this car is what I've done in the past, which is throw a bunch of money at something that doesn't need it. I know that this isn't a Focus RS, and I don't want a Focus RS. I think that I didn't say that enough in the first video about the car. I had a couple of comments that were like, well, if you would have saved some more money, you could have bought a Focus RS. Well, I didn't want one. If you guys don't know that I might not have said very often, I've owned all-wheel drive cars. I had a GR Corolla maybe 8 months ago that I had for 3 months. I bought it brand new, and I hated the all-wheel drive system. I hated the power band, and I've owned all-wheel drive cars in the past, and I just honestly never like them unless it's a Subaru. So I wanted to avoid making that mistake by buying a Focus RS. I like torque steer. I like front-wheel drive cars or rear-wheel drive cars, but I don't like both. unless it's a Subaru. I just think Subaru does it great. I don't know about the new stuff, but I do know Blob Eye, Bug Eye, Hawkeye, they drive great. So for all you guys wondering why I didn't go with an RS, it's because I didn't want an RS. It's not that I couldn't afford to buy it, it's that I didn't want to buy it. So let's get that kind of out in the air. But what I am trying to do is avoid building a car to a point that it doesn't need to be. And I feel like oftentimes people overbuild cars to the point where they're not fun, where they're not a daily, where they're not enjoyable. I think I'm really trying to show you guys what is easily possible with a daily, and so that you don't ruin the daily aspect, but it can still be a fun project. So that might mean that you have to spend a little bit more money, but you'll get a better thing at the end of it. So I'm looking at turbos, I'm looking at motor builds, and I think I found which direction I'm gonna go. It's not too crazy expensive, but it's also not crazy cheap either. I'm never gonna put parts into this car that I don't believe in, and then I don't trust with both my finances or my life, you know, if it's a safety item or whatever. So that was just to clear the air on why I didn't go with the Focus RS and why I didn't go with anything else. Now, I know some of you guys also had said, hey Alex, you paid too much for the car. And you know what? Maybe. I don't know, but I also know that a lot of you guys don't understand the market and where the market's at right now. Cars are expensive. Performance cars are expensive, and cars that aren't made anymore are getting more expensive. You know, I had bought a Fiesta ST in 2018 with sub 50,000 miles that was fairly clean, that had never been modified other than an intake and a wing riser, and I paid $11,500 for that car. That same car today will cost me more. It'll cost me like 15 grand. I know, because I looked first at a Fiesta instead of the Focus. So, you know, guys, maybe you guys are out of the market and you don't understand, but you know, I hope when you guys find your cars that you do these big searches, and you go on Facebook Marketplace, and you don't mind dealing with all this stuff. But me personally, I buy through dealerships because if something goes wrong, usually a dealership is more willing to work with me than Jared down the street. So I don't know, that's just my 2 cents about the Focus ST. I'll probably be pushing out a video next weekend of everything that I've done. I'm really stoked on the way it looks. I hope you guys are too. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend. Peace.